Assalamu alaikum. My name is Naomi Saif, and I wanted to share my story, my journey into hijab. I am new to hijab. I only started wearing it March 31st, I think is the exact date, a few weeks after my 35th birthday. I reverted to Islam a few years ago, and when I did, I, looked at the sisters in hijab and with awe and appreciation and thought that they were beautiful. However, I didn't think that had anything to do with me. I thought that sisters, either were wearing, hijab and modest clothing because they were, wearing their, that, assuming that they were Arabic, assuming that they were taking on the Arabic tradition. And I didn't think, I'm Puerto Rican, so I didn't think, oh, no, it has nothing to do with me. Stereotype. And so I never looked at hijab. I never thought that it would be anything that I would be attracted to take on as something full time. I wore it during prayer, I wore it at the masjid, but I didn't think it would be necessary or, in everyday life. So as the years went on, my first year in Islam, my second year in Islam, I started to, without really being able to put my finger on it, I started every time I would be somewhere public or, and I would come across a sister and I wouldn't have hijab on. I would look like everyone else, and everyone else in this society, modestly, as modest as I could. However, blending in nonetheless. So whenever I would see a sister, I would feel like so bad, like, oh, I wish that I could, say, Assalamu alaikum, I mean, I could, and sometimes I did, but I kind of felt like I was selling out, and then I would say to myself, well, I've got to keep my identity, when I reverted to Islam, I went from Naomi Gonzalez, Chicago, Midwest, everybody knowing that I'm Puerto Rican, everyone knowing I speak Spanish. I come to California, Southern California, and for the first time, people are asking me, what are you? People are shocked that I speak Spanish. I go to the grocery store and, I talk to the cashier and, she speaks to me in broken English. I answer her in Spanish, letting her know, podemos hablar. And she's like, oh my God, you speak Spanish? I thought you were black. I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm a mulatto. Like, we come in different colors. So I felt like, oh, I have to, now that I have an Arabic last name, Saifu Allah. And I'm like, oh, I need people to know that I'm Puerto Rican, and not realizing that I'm just like trying to hold on to this identity. So, long story short, when I realized that, I'm like, that's kind of immature, I started coming across more and more sisters in public places, and it just made me sad, for me, it just made me sad. I'm like, look at these queens, look at these princesses. They're not afraid to, to show the world, to tell everyone that they're Muslim, that they're, the princesses of Islam, and, but I just, I don't know what excuse I gave myself. So, it wasn't until, it just started slowly but surely weighing on my heart. And then I started paying attention to the sisters, even at the masjid that I frequent, and a lot of them are Mexican. So me giving that excuse in my head, just assuming, stereotyping that all sisters that wear hijab are Arabic. That is not true. Some of us are Dominican, Puerto Rican, African American, European, all colors, shapes and sizes, and we speak different languages. And I was like, I'll put a pin in that. Maybe one day. I don't see that happening now, And then at the same time, I started this journey of self-discovery, not to change the subject, but just to see how it kind of led me to the hijab. I love history. I love to research. I love all things of that nature. And so I started studying me. You know, I got my DNA done. I with Ancestry.com and African Ancestry, and I found out, you know, I am Puerto Rican. However, my ancestors on my dad's side do come from Spain, Albacete, the southern part, La Mancha, and Villanos, I think. And I only know that because of Ancestry.com. You know, I had to follow the census. And so then I found out on my mom's side, I am a quarter West African, and I have Native American. I have Taino in me. So I am learning these things about me, learning these things about my lineage, and being reminded that, you know, why do I have to dress like everyone else? Why do I have to blend in, you know? Why do I have to hold on to this identity, even as being Puerto Rican? You know, Puerto Rican, we come different colors, different shapes. We, you know, and at the same time, am I following the Puerto Rican stereotype? You know, am I wearing that uniform that this society has given us? And you know, usually the label that you carry the highest is, you know, the way you want to be known, how you want to be known, is the title that you hold most dearest to you. Is the title that you consider has priority over all. For example, if a woman says, you know, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, you know, my name is so and so, and I'm a teacher. My name is so and so, and I'm an accountant. You know, so I had to ask myself, if you had to be known by one thing, what would you want to be known for? Being Puerto Rican, being from Chicago, being Muslim. And I can't think of no better title. You know, I am proud of who I am. I am a melting pot. I am a mulatto. I am a Caribbean. You know, however, before anything else, I'm Muslim. And so I was like, you know, it made sense in my head, and I heard myself having this conversation with my heart. But when it was time to do it, I didn't know if I could. So, you know, one day, March 31st, I grabbed a scarf, and I'm like, let's go to Walmart. And I think I grabbed, I was with, I have 5 kids. And I have 4 sons and 1 daughter. I don't know who I took with me, but I wrapped myself up, and we went to Walmart, and I was walking and watching their reactions, and, you know, not in vain, but, you know, it's just, I still have some residue, you know, I still have some residue of the bad impression that, you know, the bad rap that we're giving out there, you know, in Islam. And, you know, although I haven't experienced anything, alhamdulillah, yet, you know, I still have to keep the old me in check, that I don't misrepresent Islam, and that I don't, you know, just assume that someone's going to attack me and just, you know, come across as defensive. So, you know, anyways, or be, you know, treated bad, you know. So I'm walking to the store, you know, I'm looking, you know, I'm looking at everyone, you know, being peaceful, you know, but that don't get it twisted look. And it was freeing, you know, it was freeing. First time, you know, the first time I can remember in a long time, I had people compliment me. Oh, your scarf is so pretty. Oh, you look so nice. Bumping into, you know, sisters, you know, assalamu alaikum. You know, it's like a camaraderie thing. It's like, you know, it made me proud. And so when I came home and I was like, wow, it was, you know, I told my husband, I'm like, oh, I went to the store with a scarf on, and it felt nice, and I felt like a queen. And do you think that I can, you know, how do you feel about having your wife wrapped up? And he was like, you know, it's whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with, you know, you're beautiful either way. And so the next day, just without thinking about it, I just started grabbing the scarf, and, you know, I still have to practice, but it's a big difference. It's a big difference in how people treat you. Big difference in how you feel, you know, I feel like a queen. I feel like, you know, I remember one time my husband and I, we went to the DMV or someplace like that in regards to the car and registry. And I just sat in the car with the kids, and I'm sitting in the passenger side and the car is parked. And these two young men are walking, you know, actually up and down this block, but they don't see me in the car, and they're just talking. And then they just start cussing. They just start, you know, I got a girl and I'm going to, you know, they just start, you know, using this foul language. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. So I like grab my phone and, you know, just so I don't look at them and they don't look at me. However, one of them did notice me sitting in the car, and I had my hijab on. And he was like, yo, you don't see that lady in the car? Don't talk like that, you know? And then he's like, ma'am, I'm sorry. And I'm like, wow, in my 35 years of life, never has a male, young or old, used foul language in my presence and then apologize. The power of the hijab. So I haven't taken it off since. I am buying scarves. I got a sewing machine. I want to learn how to get my sleeves, how to make my sleeves, and I ordered things from Pearl Daisy, and you know, I was inspired, you know, by videos on YouTube from Amina Ken and the sisters from Muslima to Muslima TV, the Jamaican Muslima, Nye Armstrong, and I always say this wrong, Hijab. The sister from there, she's beautiful. So, you know, if you're out there and you're making videos, you're making tutorials of hijab, know that it's not in vain. You are definitely inspiring us to put the scarf on, you know, and I can't imagine myself without it. I feel like a queen, you know, and alhamdulillah that I started this when my daughter is so young. She's 10, and now she wants to wrap up, and you know, I get to have the conversations with her about being a queen and being a princess, and it makes sense, you know, and it makes sense because another thing that I, you know, took on was, you know, the women not touching men, men not touching women, you know. And I think about the Queen, you know, for example, the Queen of England. No one can just go up and shake her hand, and, you know, you can't even hug her, you know, as we remember with the story with First Lady Michelle Obama. So how much more special are we, you know, all women, you know, but I'm speaking in particular to, you know, my sisters in Islam, because we are just more aware. We are just more aware of our value, and, you know, so why not? You know, of course, everyone has to follow their path and be led by Allah, you know. So, I mean, I just pray that every one of my sisters experience at least once what it is like to put on a hijab and to experience being looked upon like a princess, like a queen, people giving you respect, people moving out of the way, people holding the door, and, you know, you feeling empowered and at the same time representing Islam, you know. At the same time, they may not understand our religion, they may not know what's going on, but they know that, you know, while we're not perfect, you know, we're modest and we're trying to carry ourselves with dignity, and, you know, we're trying to be ladies. So, again, if you're out there and you're making videos, thank you so much. And that's my hijabi story. Assalamu alaikum.